I've had enough. I really have had enough in prison. Frightens the life out of me. I've done 26, 27 years behind the door. And you do become institutionalized. I didn't really know what that meant, because when I first started going to jail, I was getting out and I was still the same person. And then the longer sentences kicked in. And then I was getting out and I didn't want to talk to people. I didn't want to go out. Just talking to family, going sitting around a family table, you feel like an outcast. And it's not, your family don't make you feel like that. It's your own institutionalized paranoia. You feel out of place, like you're an imposter. In many parts of society when you get out of jail after a long period in prison.
Is prison a holiday camp?
No.
No, it's not.
I'll do.
This is one of my mates. I've got to say that he's just bought me a breakfast. Keith, just a very brief introduction as to how we know each other.
So, Strangeways prison.
13-14.
Yeah. So, I had Paula. It was Paula. Ended up on the healthcare with kidney problems, and you was officer on there, and we met on there, and then in the association room where sat down and we had a chat, and your approach made me open up about my past, and I spoke about things to you, and you made me believe that things that had happened to me weren't my fault, and it kind of changed my outlook on, the way I treated myself, and yeah, things started to get better for me with that mindset. So yeah, that's how we met.
One event changed his life. Horrendous, worst kind of thing. Young man, can't speak about it, bottled it up, turned, like a lot of people do, to chemicals, various chemicals, and then it's a downward spiral. Once you get involved in that sort of thing, it's crime. Yeah. They go hand in hand, don't they?
Yeah, definitely.
A lot of people self-medicate, don't they?
Yeah.
For poor childhood trauma, bad experiences. So that's how we know each other. So first one that comes up regular: prison is a holiday camp.
You're asking me?
I'm asking you, is prison a holiday camp?
No, far from it. Far from it. Unless you've experienced prison, I don't think anybody can make that kind of judgment anyway. You read what you want in the media or papers or whatever, but people talk about your PlayStations and TVs and all that, but that doesn't take the wall away. It doesn't take that 23-hour bang up away. It doesn't take the violence away. It doesn't take away, the fact that you can't see your children, you can't see your families. So yeah, far from it. A lot of mental health issues are born in prisons.
A lot of habits with chemicals.
A lot of habits, yeah.
Start in prison.
Yeah. Like it used to be heroin, a lot of heroin in jails. Now it's the spice, and the spice is it's ruined a lot of families, a lot of lives. No, it's far from an holiday camp.
What would you say to people that want prison to be harder?
Go and spend a week. Go and spend a week on a wing, and then come out and then say you want it to be hard. If you made it harder, look at the suicide rate and self-harm rate now. If you could make it harder, I'm not sure you can make it harder, but if you could make it harder, that's going to start.
It's a loss of liberties, isn't it?
Yeah.
You can't take a shower when you want.
No.
You're dependent on me unlocking you for that. You're dependent on me unlocking you to take an hour's exercise every day.
Yeah.
You're dependent for everything.
Yeah. Food. Yeah. Visits.
Do prison officers stop violence?
Prison officers try. They can, especially now because they've not got the staff levels. Like I think I've said this before. When it used to be 10 and 2, 10 staff, 2 senior officers on per wing. Now it's 2 staff, and them 2 staff might not be above 20 years old, looking after 100 inmates, 100 plus.
No experience.
No experience.
No communication skills. No life skills.
No.
No chance.
No.
How do we make prisons better?
More staff. You've got to get them staffing levels back up. Until you do, you're not. I don't think the control's going to come back. You know, when it was that many staff, there was a lot more structured though as well. When there was more staff, it was a lot more structured. You was out your cells, you was working. You had to work. If you didn't work, you was put on basic. You was punished. Now you're lucky to get out yourself to go to work.
Keith's saying structure. I'll go along with that. Regime for me.
Regime.
So run a regime, get people out, send them to work, give them exercise. Just
Education.
associating with other people, talking, playing pool, table tennis, chatting, walking around exercise yard, bit of fresh air.
Education.
Education.
A lot of that's gone now. The education, people could enroll in college and things like that, and they could get themselves qualifications when they come out. Now, you're lucky if you're doing the basic maths and English. I'm probably in art class.
How difficult is life once you come out of prison? There's things before you start. I'll tell you what I never realised. If you can drive a car, your car insurance is going to cost 4 times as much because you've been in prison.
Yeah.
Jobs. I know plenty of lads, they've got a job, they've declared the convictions. Somewhere down the road, somebody has seen them, maybe a manager who didn't know, who was aware, and instead of looking at the person, seeing where they could do the job, they've just got sacked.
Yeah. Yeah.
How difficult is it to settle down when you've done a long sentence?
For me, fitting back into society, I mean, I've done 26, 27 years behind the door. And you do become institutionalized. I didn't really know what that meant, because when I first started going to jail, I was getting out and I was still the same person. And then the longer sentences kicked in. And then I was getting out and I didn't want to talk to people. I didn't want to go out. Getting a job, going for an interview, that just frightened the life out of me. Just talking to family, going sitting around a family table, you feel like an outcast. And it's not, your family don't make you feel like that. It's your own institutionalized paranoia. You feel out of place, like you're an imposter in many parts of society when you get out of jail after a long period in prison. And that's mainly, I think, because I spent probably my last 2 recalls, which mount up to about 4.5 years, I spent most of that behind the door. I didn't want to come out myself. So I isolated. So I had my own company, and that was it. Because I just didn't want to communicate with people. I'd just had enough. My mental health was deteriorating. I was getting more depressed.
Do you think, I don't think I've ever asked this, that you are a lesser person because you've been to prison?
No, I don't think that. I think lesser abilities than other people because I've been to prison.
You're not as qualified in life.
Yeah, that's better. Yeah.
How do we remedy that?
As it stands now, I've been out about 9 months. This is the longest period outside of prison since I was 15, where I've not used drugs. And I'm starting to get back into society now. I'm starting to do things with family, going days out. I'm having my children more. I'm in a relationship. I'm living with my partner. I'm interacting with my parents. Well, my dad more, and I feel like I'm starting to find who I am, because I never knew who I was while I was committing crime and taking drugs for all of this.
Why has there been 9 months with no chemicals?
I've had enough. I really have had enough in prison. Frightens the life out of me.
See, this for me is the whole point. The reason people stop going back to prison, it's nothing we've done. We don't rehabilitate people. It's either change of life circumstances,
Age.
Mrs. says, look, pack it in, or we're done. Kids, health.
Yeah, I've got so many health problems now, and prison is not a place to be if
Are they
you are poorly.
drug related, chemical related?
No, No, the retroperitoneal fibrosis damaged my kidneys, ended up losing the kidney. My legs, blocked arteries in my legs through to back injury, discs, trapping nerves that was left for too long. So my legs have gone now. And if you're in prison and you're on a lot of medication, it's not a place to be, because you know yourself, healthcare in prisons.
Prison hospital wing.
Yes. If you're on the prison hospital wing, you're probably going to be all right. But if you're on a normal wing and your medication doesn't come, you can wait 48 hours to get that medication, because they might have to order it. And that might not be your mistake. That might be because the healthcare haven't ordered it, and it's not an happy place. It's not a safe place, though. So yeah, health, relationships, and I'm enjoying life. 50 now. I don't know how long I've got left. And my children, they're growing up. I've got a lad who's just about to leave school. Got another one who's 9 next week. And they're loving having the dad back. We have brilliant time now.
Do you know what? I consider you possibly to be very lucky in that you've got children and your ex-partners or whatever
Yeah.
are allowing you, which isn't always the case, is it? It can be very. Could you understand if your partner said, "Right, no, you're not seeing the kids. You're a bad influence."
Oh no, it's happened. I've got 4 children. I can't see 2 of them. They're to 2 separate mums, and then I've got my 2 boys who are seen now to the same mum. And you know, she's been badly by me. I left her 6 months pregnant with me, with 16-year-old. And you know, we was in the middle of moving house at the time as well. It broke her heart. You know, so if she and you know, when I got out, we got back together again. I used drugs again, and she phoned the police on me. And she basically said, "You're not seeing the kids until you sort your life out." You know, she's a good mum. And this time now, we actually do have a good working relationship
good on
when it
her.
comes to the children. Yeah,
Good on her.
yeah.
So that side of it, you know, you get on well with them.
Mm, yeah, yeah. I am lucky. God, I'm lucky.
If you go back to one point in time, I know it's a difficult question,
That was very easy.
and just hey,
I think it's going to be an easy answer. Go on.
go on then.
So, if I could go back to one point in my life which would change,
Yeah.
right? So, a 10-year-old teacher had told me off. So what I did was, when we played out at the playtime, I kicked the football through the toilet window. The caretaker boarded it up. Me and another lad went back at 7 o'clock at night time, broke in and smashed every single classroom to pieces. We got charged with criminal damage and burglary. And the look on my mum and dad's face when that happened, I've never got over it. I know it broke their hearts, and I had it in my head that I could never make up for that. I could never make up for it. And I just went off. I just went off. I changed as a person then. And I was doing stupid things like stealing bikes and shoplifting and running away from home. And I was running away from home because I felt guilty. I couldn't look my mum and dad in the eyes, even at that young age, 10-year-old. I knew what I'd done, but it didn't stop me from doing it again. It's a weird thing, but that's the one thing I'd like to change. And then obviously the abuse. That's a given, but yeah.
Going forward,
Hmm.
where would you like your life to go now? Or are you just happy sat in Moses Gate Park chatting to me?
Yeah.
Birds are singing.
Yeah, no, this is good for me. I like this, you know. I'm enjoying life at the minute, Sam. You know, I can't work. I'm not well enough to work. Um, I'm on sick. I've got a dog. You know, I have to walk my dog. I'm happy in my relationships. Um, So yeah, I'm content at the moment. I just want to try and get some of my health issues sorted. But other than that, I'm just happy being with my children and Joanne. And
That's good. Right, you are an IPP prisoner. I've talked about that sentence. You know, it was designed for well, to manage risk, really. You know, the sort of people who harm children and women,
yeah,
people who commit acts of terror and the like. It was misused. There's about 1,700 to 2,000 lads and lasses in prison now. 10, 15, 20 years they've been inside for offences that warranted a 18-month to 2.5 year sentence. How? I say how because I hope it's going to happen. How do we look after those people when they eventually get released from prison? Can you imagine, you know, you were an IPP being locked up for 20 years, you know, with no light at the end of the tunnel, no chance of getting out. I always said you know, if I'd have been role reversal, I'd have been locked up in prison, I'd have got a long sentence. I couldn't have done it, man.
do you know everybody says that? And they say it they say it about different scenarios and situations in life, but when you're actually put in that position, you've got to do it because what's the alternative? End your life and ruin your family's lives. You've just got to keep fighting and pushing through that day to day, you know. But those people that, you know, did get 2, 3, 4 year tariffs and still in 15, 20 years later, them people are not going to be the same ever again. I'm telling you now, that will do so much to their mental health. I've done 15.5 years off a 7 year tariff, and I've been out twice. I've had 3 recalls. Each My last recall was only 13.5 months, but the ones before that were years long. And it's like them recalls, when you're getting recalled and you've not committed a crime, you know, you might be suffering with mental health, you might have to
Your last one, basically, you got recalled, didn't you?
for being
Because
honest.
a decline in your mental health. And
100%,
you were
yeah.
way too honest with
Yeah, and I was honest with probation, and when you get put in prison for that, and then you sit there and you watch people coming in for burglary and doing 6 months, and you're doing 2.5 years for not turning up at probation or being honest about your mental health or something like that, or even a drug relapse, you know. If the police were to stop somebody now on the street and say, "Have you took drugs?" and he says, "Yeah," and they put me in front of a judge, you'd get a conditional discharge. I did 2 years, 7 months for a similar thing for me
For being
first
honest.
recall, you know, and it's like
You didn't do it for using the drugs. You chose
to tell
your
probation.
probation
Yeah,
officer that you had used.
yeah. So yeah, for these people that are coming out now, or people getting out, they are going to need help. I have no idea what you can set up in order to help them people. There needs to be a robust network, and the people that are coming out on the IPP need to use that network and not think they can do it themselves. Because
Do you think people should be getting compensation who've been kept in prison um, by the system? They've been locked up and kept in by the system, haven't they? They haven't
yeah,
been given a chance.
no, no. Well, look at all them years that I wasted. So 2 year tariff done 20 years, yeah? That 2 years might have sorted their heads out. Knowing they're coming out on life license, and they might have got a job, might have got themselves a nice pension, put some money away. They've not got a chance of doing that now. So do I believe they should be compensated? I do, yeah. I definitely do. Because they're going to get, you know what they're going to do now? I mean, some of them will probably be 40s, 50s, you know, some might only be in the 30s, but they've still wasted 20 years when they should have served 2. It makes me wonder how they've been in that long though, Sam. But I've always said, me, unless you can go on a pro board and hold your own, because some of them pro boards, you are questioned for 5 hours. 5 hours, you are bombarded with questions. And some of them they ask you to test you, to see your patience, to see if you get angry, to see your reactions. And if you're not calm and you've not got something about you and you can't articulate yourself properly, you're in trouble on them parole hearings, and there's another 2 year knockback then.
And I've been on a couple of parole hearings. It was an eye opener for me. Met one or two people. one from outside the prison, one from in the prison, whose behaviour was disgusting for me. And it was about finding absolutely any reason, anything, to knock somebody back on their parole for a couple of years.
It's that thing that they have on the table, Sam, that gets me, that crystal ball, where they say, well, we don't want to let him out because he might go and do this. You can't keep somebody in for 2 years for what they may go and do. Nobody can predict the future. That's abuse of power in my eyes.
It is. It's not that simple, is it? It can be about them people. They're looking for something. They're looking for changes. Yeah. So, having said that, how do people like Paul Gadd, also known as Gary Glitter, get parole?
Yeah.
How does he get parole? Anyone like him, how do they get parole?
I don't know.
How do they sit in front of a panel, somebody like that, the crimes? Yeah? They do though, don't they?
Yeah. Yeah, they do. I can't answer that. I can't. My only advice to anyone that's doing IPP is do everything that's asked of you and more. And more. I've gone in, right, and gone on a parole hearing without so much as a behaviour warning in years. And the parole board have given me a 2-year knockback because of what I may go and do when I get out. And it was like going to court and doing nothing wrong and getting a 4-year sentence. You tell me that doesn't affect...
I know one IPP prisoner, yeah? He got a 10-year IPP. He got out on his first parole. He got out. He refused to do any coursework. He refused to go along with a plan, yeah? His psychologist, when he went in, did a report. His psychologist, at the 10-year mark, did a report saying keeping him in any longer would be detrimental. As you know, the prison also have to provide their own psychologist report that said the same. He got out at his first parole. He refused to do coursework. I've seen lads who've done every course known to man and more, and still can't get out. It's wrong.
But there's the other thing, Sam. When you said, how can we change that? Like, you see these people that have been in now for these 20 years, yeah? These people will have had a sentence plan. Now, they may have had 4 courses, right? Now, some of them courses, you have a 12-month waiting list. Then when the staffing levels went down, these courses disappeared. So how do these people prove the flow of the risk if they can't do the courses that are actually on the sentence plans that's been given to them?
Listen, I have serious problems with me with these courses.
Yeah,
because all the courses are all based on the same format. Yeah, they tick boxes. They do nothing. They don't rehabilitate anyone. There's no GCSE for anti-terrorism. There's no GCSE against these people who prey on women and children. The courses do nothing. All the courses do is screw prison officers up who deliver them to some of the worst.
Look at the ETS, the Enhanced Thinking Skills program.
Enhanced Thinking. Before you even say, I'll tell you what all the lads said to me.
To give you the answers.
And it made me a better criminal.
Don't about that.
It made me, Enhanced Thinking Skills made me a better criminal.
Yeah.
Healthy relationship. Does that stop someone perpetrating domestic violence?
I've not done it, so I don't know, but I just...
It's not going to, is it, mate?
No, listen, they gave me the answers. They give everybody in the class the answers for the ETS, yeah? And then the report I got was absolutely outstanding. Outstanding. I thought, well, it's going to be. You give me all the answers, but... Yeah.
So, Keith, my mate, is prison a holiday camp?
No.
No, it's not. It's been a pleasure.
Real porridge, podcast, real people, real stories, real porridge, podcast.